Ah, planes, trains, and automobiles. It's time to talk Emmys, Dr. King, Super Bowl, Michigan. It's cold. it's another it's another award-winning Interludes Extra talk on Tuesday. I'm so grateful that you are joining us today, and we are going live. We are going live on a couple of places. So do me a favor and check us out. We are going to be back with Coach Tony. Here we go. Another edition of Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. I am one of your hosts, Val the Voice Johnson, and I am so grateful that you are joining us on this wonderful Tuesday evening. Many places it's a little chilly. Let me take care of a little business first and foremost. Guys, if you want to learn how to do a podcast or you want to become a fan of the Interludes podcast program, go ahead and join us on patreon.com/interludes and become a member of our Interludes podcasting community today. Oh my gosh. And I'll ask Mr. Springer to go ahead and place it in the chat. Looks like we have a lot of folks joining us on today. Man, oh man. I got to share some things with you. And of course, Coach is going to come on and share a few things first. But, you know, I want to be a part of it in old New York. If I can get frozen there, I can make it anywhere. Yes, I was in New York over the weekend. Yes, enjoying myself a little bit, I guess. I guess you could say I was enjoying myself a little bit, not too much. I unfortunately went for not one, but two memorial services. And I have to tell you guys, this was, I want to say, it was like a sad, but then it was a rejoiceful weekend. And so I was grateful to be back. It doesn't things look beautiful from the clouds? I grabbed a window seat, so I was like, let me go ahead and do that. But we paid homage to Mother Shirley Brown, and she was a wonderful woman, mother of a close friend of mine, and she attended this church in New York, very famous Baptist church called Abyssinian Baptist Church. And so I took a picture of the choir because they sound like angels. This choir is phenomenal. And of course, they were there present to honor Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley and my mom met a few times, and my mother got a chance to witness her beautiful voice. She would sing Kurt Carr's For Every Woman like nobody's business. And of course, that choir, I must say, it is, yeah, they need a recording contract somewhere. I don't know. But what was wonderful, I got a chance to spend time with the Harlem Renaissance Choir. There's a few members of us there. And of course, the young lady that's in the red, that is my girl, Veronica Hickman. I want to say hello and salutations to you. I became a part of the Harlem Renaissance Choir because of her, and really helped me build my faith when I was wobbling a little bit. My host is in the picture as well. Julianne, you are one of the best hosts ever. We roll with the punches because what happened to me, my flight got canceled not once, but twice from Southwest Airlines. Southwest. So I had to divorce them briefly. I jumped on United and then I was able to make it home, but it was rough. I don't know what happened. It was 20 something degrees in Manhattan. I want to say 29 degrees. And when I touched the ground, It was -1 at O'Hare. Um, Coach, I'm going to bring you on real quick. And I don't understand. I mean, I know both of us grew up in this
I
cold
don't want
weather,
none
but
of that.
I have a lot of issues with -1 degrees.
Hey, I thought it was bad the other day when I saw Kansas open the football game, but was -14 with a wind chill -30, and they had to play that football game because I would have just won and forfeit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, I can't do it no more, man. I told my mama, I don't know how we were outside playing football and that stuff. That's crazy.
I know. I know. It is so very, very cold. And we have one of our users, one of our people telling us it's cold. Yes. Anything that's negative, that's just too cold. Welcome,
Hey,
guys. Coach Tony. My goodness,
woo.
we were supposed to be premiering the Pull Up podcast, and I have to say I was a little mad. I wasn't available to help you with the show, and then you were trying to make sure that you didn't have bursting pipes. What was happening with you, bro?
Yeah, so first of all, it's so cold. I saw Superman in the cab. He said, "I can't even fly around." You know what I'm saying? But before I do that and tell you that, Val, we get into the show. I want to do two things here. One, excuse me, coming off the back of Martin Luther King Day, letting you know how important he was to me and my family is all Alabama, and that is you and I would not have the wonderful opportunity to sit here on an extenuating podcast that is now pretty much taking America by storm. If this young man right here, and along with Rosa Parks and many other, didn't do the things that they needed to do in the 60s. And it's not just a day of taking off work, but it's actually a day, especially now, Val, with the new politicians who don't want you, not me and you, but don't want the kids to learn the history. And so I want to just say that MLK Day to me is an opportunity to continue the learning cycle, whether you're teaching the history to someone that's younger or whether you're gaining more knowledge of what actually happened. And on the backs of that, I got to send a shout out to my 6-year-old granddaughter, Miss Skylar Wilson. If I don't, she gonna make sure I hear about it. And Val had an opportunity to catch up with two old classmates over the
Mm.
weekend, and this is none other than my girl Kenyatta Young, who told me to tell you what's up.
What's
And
up, Kenyatta?
yeah, talked to her, had a great
Wait,
conversation.
North Central Kenyatta?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey, what's
yeah.
up? I'm sorry. It's a North Central
Yeah,
thing happening right
hey,
now.
and then I got a chance to catch up with my homeboy Andrew Hunter. Now y'all call him Andrew, I call him Drew. That's what his mama told me. But my boy Drew Hunter, and whatnot. So it was good weekend, and just to catch up back with some old classmates, and we had actually the largest minority class to come through the yard at the time, and it was just good to get back to some of those good old friends during an opportunity that it was we were snowed in here in Nashville. We're not like being back home in Chicago. We got 7 inches of snow here, Val, and the whole city shut down. And it was
Wow.
so treacherous. I got out in it. I called myself going to get out in it, and I got stuck in the middle of the highway on a hill with traffic. And you talking about being scared the first time that it kind of really, I looked around me and no one was even trying to stop Val and help me. And it's funny. Speaking to actually one of my buddies who sends shouts out, Johnny Pratt, my boy down in St. Louis, very religious. And he said, Coach, let me send you a quick prayer. And he did,
Oh,
Val. And
oh,
I'm
that's
telling
sweet.
you, this is no joke. He sends me a prayer. And
Mm-hmm.
within 3 minutes, out of nowhere, 6 young brothers happened to walk by. And I rolled the window down, hey, man, can you guys help me out? And they pushed me out the snow and got me back home safely. And I just thank God for that.
I have to let people know that prayer works. I'm typing
Yeah.
that in the chat. I need you all to type that in the chat with me. and say prayer works. Now, I did the
Prayer
same thing.
works.
I did the same thing, Coach, yesterday. I don't know what happened, but as I was in New York, paying homage to, as I mentioned, Miss Shirley Brown, and then of course, one of the best tenor voices I've ever heard, Diane Turner, who used to always send me a Christmas card right after I lost my mom and had to leave New York. So we honored her sister and nephew, and a host of other family members were there as we honored her on Sunday. Shirley Brown was honored on Saturday at Abyssinian. And I'm thinking, okay, my flight's going to take off on Monday. And right when I was trying to make plans to go to Brooklyn, because if you guys know New York, Harlem and Brooklyn, they're a distance. It's like,
Yep.
for you, Tony, that's like going from
Oh, I
Evanston
already
to the
know.
south
I
side of
got, I got,
Chicago. You know how that
yeah,
works.
I got family up in New York. I know you got to come across the bridge.
Exactly.
I know what's up.
Exactly. So it's a matter of a fact. And there was a couple of times I attempted to get on the train, and my niece said, "I don't know what you think you're doing. This is not 2001 when you moved here. It's 2024, and
Right.
this is how your knees is set up. You can't do this." So not only did Southwest cancel the flight that I had on Monday, I says, "Well, you know what? Maybe there's inclement weather. It's cold. I'll reschedule." I rescheduled my flight, and they canceled it again. Right when I was trying to go
Ooh,
again to Brooklyn on on Monday. And Julian, she said, "Valerie, just go with another airline." So thank God to United Airlines. I don't like flying into O'Hare, and one of my close friends, Roxanne, no, she talked me through the whole process. Like, Val, calm down. Stop saying you hate O'Hare. Stop saying you hate O'Hare. I was just like, where's the ride share? It's too cold. I'm sweating. I'm overdressed. I'm underdressed. It was ridiculous. So she says, "Val, let's pray, or I need you to calm down and pray." And do you know, prayer works. I got the ride share. I got a very young man. He knew how to maneuver the Kennedy and the Dan Ryan. I blinked my eyes and clicked my heels 2 times, and I was back
right.
on the south side
Hey,
in
that's
about
what they do.
35-40 minutes.
Click your heels. Hey, like Dorothy, baby, back on the south side. Hey, if the people that watching don't know, I'm telling you, coming from over here to the south side, that's like going to another country sometimes.
It sure is. It sure
I
is.
mean,
And we have a lot. And we have a lot of folks representing from North Central.
oh yeah,
Michael Drew is here.
Mike
What's
Drew,
up?
hey, let me tell you something,
Hey.
Val. This dude, I'm about to catch up with him, right? So he sends me all these pictures with all these fancy new Dobbs he's wearing. So don't be surprised, Val, if because I got to keep my section. But see, I got my new piece on tonight. I had to wear my
Oh
piece
my
tonight.
Lord.
You know what I'm saying? I had to keep it flashy. I figured I got to get the sports side rocking and rolling. And don't be surprised if I roll up on the set with a Dobb on one night, looking debonair. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, guys. Well, speaking of things looking debonair, and as we talked about it a little bit earlier, for Dr. King, for myself, it means that people continue to get to know what has happened, the civil rights movement, and then also some of the many rights that not only Dr. King fought for everyone that he aligned himself with, and then of course many of the speeches that he made. One of the ones that he made just before his, in my mind, untimely death. He said, "I'm not worried about any man or anything. Mine eyes have seen the glory of
That's
the
right.
coming of the Lord." And the way he ends that speech gives you chills,
Chill.
especially knowing what was
Let me.
going to happen. So, but
Oh,
Tony, before I have you swing on in here,
now stay right there, Val. Stay right there.
we're going to be talking about some of the top actors that portrayed Dr.
Yes.
King on screen. Now,
Yes.
do you remember this gentleman, Coach?
I remember that gentleman. And what you just mentioned about Dr. King, you talking about chills. And I know
Mm-hmm.
for some people that don't know, and maybe, not in Chicagoland, but every year, Val, remember when we was coming up, they used to do the Chicago House mix with Farley, who did the Dr. King's speech over top of the tracks. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That was but Paul Winfield, this brother portrayed Dr. King phenomenal.
Wonderful. And it was a 1978 miniseries that came out. And he was there. He was in there with Cicely Tyson, Tony Bennett, Roscoe Lee Brown. I don't know if those names
Yeah,
ring a bell with you, but yeah, Nazi Davis. So I
Ozzy
have to
Davis.
say, yeah. So he was one of the people that in back in the day, because it's been over 30 actors that have portrayed
Yep.
Dr. King, and so I don't know if you remember this person. This is one of my favorites, actor Jeffrey Wright. He's currently in a film. I'm trying to get to see, and so Jeffrey Wright did an excellent job portraying Dr. King in a film called Boycott. I think that
Yes.
came out in 2001. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I remember that, and that was, that young man has been on some amazing journeys, just in the black movies, and portraying the '60s, and I think it's rightfully so what Michael Drew said. Mike said, we got to keep doing the work, because if we don't, Val, our grandkids are never going to have the opportunity to understand the history because of the way the new politics is trying to whitewash things, and that is absolutely correct.
Exactly.
It's amazing if you could ever you know, get an opportunity to meet little scholars. I know you didn't when everybody came to the city because she wasn't with it. She will blow your mind
Mhm.
because she went to school. She know about Dr. Martin Luther King at 6 years old, to the point the teacher said, okay, now hold on now, wait a minute, let somebody else talk about it. So, we have to be our own self-inflicted teachers, and and the funny part about this young man, Val,
Mhm.
Jeffrey Wright, I really remember him from what movie?
Oh, a lot of people remember him from Shaft.
Exactly. And to have him
And I
go
thought he
from
was
a death,
Hispanic. I thought he was
right, right,
Hispanic.
exactly. He said, I love Tiger Woo. I love Tiger Woo. And for him to go, that was the verse right there. That was it. But for him to
I
go from that straight up Puerto Rican gangster, slit your throat, don't care about nothing, right? Going at Samuel
Mhm.
Jackson in that movie, to a civil rights guy, was an amazing feat to me. And I really, really, really love the stuff that this brother brings to the screen.
So there is a current film that's out with him called American Fiction. It's we'll be talking about it a
Yes.
little bit later, but it has been winning a lot of awards, not necessarily in the acting thing, but also in the writing. And so
I
Jeffrey
want to
Wright,
see that.
this is
Did it come
yeah,
out yet?
I want to see it. It has Sterling K. Brown, Tracy Ellis Ross,
Oh,
and
yeah.
but just a slew of wonderful folks that's in it. But let me go to the next person that has portrayed, and let us know who is your favorite Dr. King in the chat.
Oh,
Now, of
Courtney B.
course,
Vance. Yeah.
Courtney B. Vance. Yes. What's your thoughts on him?
I like Courtney B. Vance, but out of the three, I still got to say Jeffrey Wright, because Jeffrey he brought that something to that screen. But, Courtney has never really been that. To me, when I'm looking at his part, Val, he's
Mhm.
always that police detective. He's always that guy
So
that's in the,
Law and
yeah,
order. You
yeah,
you
yeah.
you
He's
you
always
got him locked
that
in.
yeah. And it's hard to get him out that role, and you're trying to step up and play another role, which is why, like, more like Jeffrey Wright. He played multiple roles, and when you see him hit a hero like Dr. King, amazing.
Right. Yeah. And definitely he has a current TV series called 61st Street. I believe that
Oh,
is
I like
on
it. Have you
Epic.
seen that? Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
I've seen a couple episodes of it, and then
Now,
there's a
you and
film
I
that
went
he
back and
has.
forth on that. You didn't really like that. And I told you that this was me and Mike Womble was talking about it. We kept telling
Exactly.
you about it.
So I circled back to check it out, and there's also another film, what he played an amazing C.R. Franklin in Genius, and this was about
Yes.
Aretha Franklin, and that was something that me and Michael reviewed as well. Our next Dr. King. Let's see if you guys remember him. I don't remember this one. This
And
was Malik Yober,
that just came
from
out a few years ago, and he did okay. But because Malik is more closer to our age, I didn't really feel him in the role like I did the other guys.
okay.
Um, and he did okay. Once again, I see Malik in a different role that he played, and even though he did okay, and maybe it could have been the person we had, playing.
A lot of us know him, and Jeffrey Wright and Malik Yober met Malik Yober last year at this PNC conference in Houston. He was really nice at the time, and they were speaking with him about a couple of things. And then Jeffrey Wright, when him and Mos Def was on
Oh,
Broadway,
yeah.
and
Okay.
for Top Dog Underdog in 2002. I took a picture with him and another friend of ours, but Malik Yober went ahead and portrayed Dr. King in the film called Betty and Coretta,
Yeah, better
and it
ain't
was a
correct.
TV film, and that came out in
Mhm.
2013.
I think
I
why I probably didn't like him so much because I ain't like the way he did Jill Scott.
Oh my gosh, you talking about the First Wives Club?
Right?
Oh
No,
my
the Tyler
gosh.
Perry movie. The
Oh,
Tyler
the
Perry
Tyler
movie.
Perry movie. What
Yeah,
okay. Now,
yeah.
of course, you guys remember Benson, right?
Oh
Do
my God.
do do
Benson, I remember
do
Benson.
do
Yes.
do do.
Hey, that's a
I
throwback.
did
That's a real throwback.
I know. And he portrayed Dr. King in 85. And David
David, oh,
Oyelowo,
yeah. Yes.
British actor. This was one of my favorite films, Selma, which came out
Selma.
in 2014 with Ava
Yes.
DuVernay behind the director's lens. And I have to tell you guys, this is one of my favorite
Yes.
actors. I mean, just
Yes.
wonderful. And of course,
And that
we're here.
soundtrack. That
Oh, the
soundtrack
sound.
blew it. That soundtrack had comment on it and John Legend.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I and I
So,
see
and that
Kenyatta
movie
agrees
with
with
Ava,
you.
that threw Ava in a whole, in my personal feelings,
Hmm.
Selma threw Ava in a completely different bracket of young black directors.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. She currently has a film out that's called Origin. And
Yep.
Janine Ellis is going to be in that as well. And so she was on The View promoting the film. And so she has a track record of doing films that definitely speak to the culture, but then moves the needle in knowledge. When They See Us, excellent series on Netflix. If you haven't seen it,
David's
she's behind
passionate.
that as well. Hmm?
Yeah, Yellow's real passionate when no matter what role he gets, he did the other role about what's my man name in South Africa? Was it Mandela?
So
What who was it?
I think so. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure, but I
I
think
think he did
so.
the role for man. That brother, he brings it. When I say brings it, he brings it. I know Kenyatta said that she likes Jeffrey Wright as well because
Hmm.
he hasn't gotten his kudos and all that. But David Oyelowo, man, this cat right here is a solid guy, behind the microphone.
Now here's a fun fact. The young lady, Carmen Ijogo, is playing Coretta. That's next door to David right there.
Yep,
That's actually the ex-wife of David Jeffrey Wright.
get out.
I know.
Wow,
So I didn't understand. Okay, Carice joining us. Greetings and salutations. And
Carissa, what's up, girl?
thank you. And then, of course, this is funny. I totally forgot that Malik Yober played Janet Jackson's husband, and that was the Mary. Why did I get
Yeah,
married?
that's what I'm saying. And
Yes.
yeah, and that's the movie. That's what I was talking about with the Tyler Perry. He played the husband with Janet Jackson. They were wow. Again, you would not know this. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Interludes Talk on Tuesday with my girl right here, Val the Voice Johnson. Of course, you know who I am, Coach Tony. Subscribe to the show. Continue to get hit upside the head with this knowledge, and we continue to give you the latest breaking news, talking everything from entertainment to sports. Absolutely awesome. But you know something, Val? What really? I go back to the Selma movie you talked about,
Hmm.
the Common, the John Legend. Out of
Oh, the
all the
music.
movies, man, that soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks ever produced, having to deal with a Martin Luther King, connotation. And I mean, John Legend said a nice track, but Common blew that song up as well. That was dope.
Yeah, and I have to say as we wrap this up, I did a poll on Facebook, and I'm taking a look at it right now. Thank you guys for voting over on our Facebook group, and I'll go ahead and ask I'll ask Kevin to place it in the chat if you want to go ahead and join our Facebook group, the Interludes Podcast. So David Yellow got about 25% of the votes. And then I
Right?
had LeVar Burton. He was also portrayed as Dr. King. He got about 23 votes, but the
Get out.
person that won was Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright. That brother, I'm telling you, that brother straight brings. When I say, when you can turn your hat from the left side of being a dope dealer, slinging yayo, ready to get it in with Samuel Jackson, shoot him up on the streets. I mean, this brother climbed out on the ledge of a window to escape. You know what I'm saying? The police, and then, like, hey, I don't care about it. He was the modern day Scarface.
Yeah, but that was really a great performance. It's kind of I feel like it's an underrated film. Vanessa
Yes,
Williams and then Samuel L. Jackson. Of course, the
yes.
original Shaft was in there. Of course,
Oh, the
the
original
late,
sound was
the
just
great
yeah,
Richard Roundtree. But you
Rich
know what?
Roundtree.
If you get noted for great acting, you're usually given an Emmy award. A
Was
lot of people did not check out the Emmy awards. They were probably stuck in traffic or trying to get on a plane
well, they
like
better
us last night.
our people better get their tickets because me and you about to get one in about a year. So I'm telling you right now. Hey,
So
I'm already reaching out to Byron Allen right now. Hey,
I
hey.
I know, and of course your boy, he's my boy. I don't know about nobody else. Anthony Anderson.
Oh, this is my
Uh,
homeboy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
Anthony,
host
my man's in
he
there.
host he hosted on Monday night yesterday on MLK Day.
Listen,
And here's
Quentin,
the thing: it's award season, Coach, and this show was supposed to happen last year, like in September or something. And
really?
unfortunately, because of the strike, they had
Oh,
to
yeah,
postpone
that's
it.
right.
So everything is stacking on top of each other. The Critics' Choice Awards was Sunday, and then they
Mhm.
had this on Monday. So these things came
And
back
there's
to
something else
back to
coming this
back.
weekend, right?
What was that?
And I think there's something else coming this weekend I saw.
It probably is. It probably is. And oh, thank you so very much. Someone is letting us know that they think Jeffrey Wright is a great theatrical actor. Yes, Top Dog, Underdog. I saw
Oh, yeah,
him
Todd.
in that
Yeah.
and back in 2002. Excellent actor. And like I said, American Fiction. I'm just recommending it, although I have not seen it yet. But it's good to see that Anthony Anderson was hosting the Emmys, and of course, one of the big winners was Niecy Nash for the film
Niecy
she
Nash.
yes. And so yeah, they said it was a record low of 4.3 million viewers, but it was up against a playoff game last night. Who was playing last night, coach?
Hey, let me tell you something. Me and Valerie would take that 4.5 million views any day. Any day. Last night, as we talk sports, last night Philly was getting their feelings hurt last night.
Oh man,
Oh,
they
Tampa,
lost.
Tampa Bay hurt them boys' feelings last night,
Oh my
man. But we're gonna get it, we're gonna get into that as we flip
god.
into sports. But that's what was
Mhm.
going on last night that took the viewership away from this because I love the way that the award shows are coming out and everything is coming back, giving these actors and actresses their just due finally, coming out the SAG strike. And it's good to get these people back working because, I didn't realize something the other day until they were talking about it on the news. Do you know the most watched Netflix show before the strike happened?
Bridgerton.
Nope.
Um,
The Heist.
the Heist.
Yep, The Heist.
Okay,
The
I
Heist
wouldn't
was
have.
the most watched show of all before the strike. And then, now they came back with the next version of it with Berlin, who didn't get killed. So he's got his, part of how he's robbing different banks. But the heist had everybody in during the pandemic and all of that. And then after the heist was over, then the strike came and all of that. The heist was lit.
I cannot believe that. Now, because last night's 75th Emmy Awards was kind of a milestone time,
Wow.
75 years.
Wow. Yeah.
They had a bunch of cast come back and, kind of reenact their iconic scene. What you got right here are a couple of actors from the iconic Fox series Martin. So
Oh,
Tisha Campbell, you had Martin Lawrence,
okay.
you had Tashina Arnold, and of course Cole.
Cold, cold in the
You
house.
know, yeah, with that
And,
hat on,
but you can't set it
Carl
off
Anthony
unless
Payne.
you got to have either, because I'm a Marty connoisseur. Ask anybody.
Mhm.
But you can't set Martin off unless you got Hustle Man or you got Bruh Man coming through.
So if you here's the thing, if you have BET Plus, there is a
Right?
reunion episode of Martin on there, and they pretty much bring everybody on. I think Snoop Dogg comes on because he actually appeared on the actual show,
Yep,
and
Snoop,
they
Biggie.
talked about how Martin broke a lot of barriers for hip hop. And there were a lot of hip hop artists that got a chance to appear on the Martin show. So I'm very grateful that the Emmys went ahead and acknowledged, although I'm not remembering if anyone from the cast won an Emmy, but I'm grateful that they acknowledged this show as iconic, and that, like we know that a lot of millions of people got to know who a Snoop Dogg, Biggie Smalls, or whomever, because they had a shot on the
I mean,
Martin.
well, first of all, Val, I
Mhm.
don't know if you did not did you ever pay attention to the actual titles of the Martin show?
Yeah, some of them were like titles of songs.
Correct. And sometimes a lot of people didn't do that. Tonight's tonight. You got to get here. Jodeci on the show, right? He had
Yeah,
Keith Sweat on the show. He had all these guys. He had Tony Braxton on the show. And
right.
again with Snoop Dogg, he had Biggie Papa on the show, and Biggie stayed at his house. So yeah, Martin was so instrumental in that early '90s. You talking about God darn it, slipped my mind. The show we talking about last week with Kadeem Hardison and those guys are going to school.
So that would be
Um,
a different world,
a different world. Yeah, you're
right?
talking about what a different world did for us in that late '80s, early '90s in terms of turning people around, young people around, in terms of making them want to go to school and go to college.
Mhm.
You can think about what Martin did in terms of the music industry with hip hop. At the time,
Right,
hip hop was exploding. Oh, you had Naughty by Nature on there, Queen Latifah was on here. I mean, it was
right.
ridiculous that the people that Martin brought on the show and intermixed into a show, Mike Tyson. I mean, it was insane.
And there was a lot of people that were coming on his show that would probably never get a shot on any other type of show. And here,
Yes.
this is in Anina Johnson. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. She said that they never won an Emmy, and they were on, I want to say, either 5 or 6 seasons. I think they were on for 5 seasons. Yeah.
I thought Martin was on more like 8.
No, 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 no. I
Okay.
know that. I know that. And here's the thing. They were a part when Fox first started as a network.
Right.
It was the Thursday night, and it was
Yep.
Living Single, Martin, and then New York Undercover with Malik Yober, and then my crush, Michael DiLorenzo. So
They
yeah,
love
that was
Red
kind of
Dog, and
that
then my
was
boy in Living Color. And Living Color was there
Living
too.
Color was a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
And
because
then
homie don't play that.
yeah, you so and thank you so much for this, Kevin. It was several TV reunions that had, and we just saw that from Martin. Cheers also came on, Grey's Anatomy, as well as All in the Family, as this
Yes.
was, and they said that this was the most diverse Emmy Awards. And of course, I can't believe this. Quinta Brunson, who you see there from Abbott Elementary, she breaks an Emmy. She won for Best Actress in a comedy, and this is, I think, the first time that
Wow.
a woman has won this, a Best Actress. Now, when I think about, I thought Sandra from 227, aka Jackie Harry, won the first Emmy, but she did win the first Emmy, but it was
Zach
in
Kelly.
comedy and supporting. So she won and for Best Actress. And this is huge. Yes, thank you very much, Johnson. Finally, somebody won. So she was in tears. And so this, like I said, a lot of people are like, they don't really care about the awards or whatever. But It was also fun to know that Anthony brought his mom.
Oh,
They have a couple of what do you call it, game shows that they're doing,
man, they
and
got a
so
couple of
congratulations to
commercials.
the
They got
winners.
some commercials that are hilarious.
I know,
I just like the
I
fact that
know.
I like the fact that he grabbed his mom. You know, that's
Hmm.
dope. And she had the wherewithal to, get in and be funny and, go through all that. Those Campbell soup commercials that they got is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it is really, it's really hilarious. And I'm just sitting here going, like, if I could employ my mom, I think that would be hilarious if it could happen. And of
Right.
course, yeah, and of course, yeah. So like I was saying, there was a lot of winners. This is going to be I want to call it an award season. So we're gonna look up. You're gonna see the SAG Actor Awards. You're gonna see another image. You'll see the NAACP Image Awards. I think the Grammys are at for music. The Grammys are coming at the very beginning and of on what is this on February. So there's a lot that's coming down the pipeline. But now it's time to get into some sports. So here
Speaking
we
of
go.
awards, man, if y'all like Jeffrey Wright, y'all gonna love Coach Tony. That's all I'm saying. You know, the crazy part, Val, you could not have spun that on the dime any better in terms of awards because we're gonna go right to this college game. That was the biggest thing that was going on our last show as we went out before the holidays and took that 2 week hiatus. And me and these cats around here, because I'm in Tennessee, Val,
Hmm.
give it up to the University of Michigan, baby. Big
All right.
Ten.
Yay.
Knocked off Washington Husky and Penix Jr. 34-13. Great game early on, but then Michigan just showed their dominance, Val. And now, we know that Jim Harbaugh has some problems, has some
Hmm.
issues, got
Uh-oh.
suspended 3 games, supposedly for cheating and stealing signals, but he was able to come back the last game of the season and into the playoffs, and it was nothing fitting to just ride away on that sleigh to say I'm now a national champ. And uh,
All right.
and and, and it was just fitting because Washington, what a lot of people don't realize, Val, as we restructure these new conferences, which is what I've been talking about for the last 2 years, if
Yeah.
you listen to Coach Tony, there's only going to
Hmm.
be really 3 major conferences you're going to worry about: the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC. I mean, not ACC, but the ACC. Um, the other two conferences, yeah, they kind of survive. But you got the Big 12, I'm sorry, the SEC. I don't know how I left them out. The SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. Those
Hmm.
three conferences are going to be your powerhouses, with the ACC holding on in case a few schools defect. But the Pac-12 is no longer. So
Oh,
Val,
they're gone. They're gone.
exactly. If this was
Okay.
a fast forward to next year, do you know this would be an all Big Ten national championship game with Washington and Michigan because Washington is now coming to the Big Ten.
Okay. So they'll fit into that restructure for of all the conferences. So this will be interesting to see.
Very much. So you get 4 California schools, or well, 4 West Coast schools, California to the north, you get UCLA, you get Oregon to the north, and you get USC. We got the 4 best schools in the Pac-12 coming to the Big Ten. So think about this, Val.
Hmm.
As a coach, and I walk into your house to recruit your child,
Oh, okay.
boy or girl, basketball or football or such.
Mm.
And if you're looking at the SEC, that's not bad. I like the SEC. I think it's great. But name in the 7 southern states, Val, what's the biggest cities that you can pretty much go visit?
In the South?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
What would be the number one city in the South?
immediately the city that comes to me is Atlanta in the South.
Miami.
Okay, Miami. Well, every time I've gone there's been a ghost town. So maybe I'm
See,
going to
you
the
like
wrong
me. It's
town.
been like I thought this was
I
Miami.
don't
It's like
see
a
it.
ghost. Like
I don't see it. Like
y'all need to come to the shot. What?
yeah, I don't see it. And of
So
course,
Atlanta, okay,
possibly Birmingham.
Birmingham,
Uh
okay, Atlanta, Birmingham.
okay, Houston.
No, Houston ain't South.
Oh, it's not south. Okay, it's west. Okay. All right, let me keep going. I'm going to keep guessing. We have let's see, Lexington, Kentucky. No, 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 no. We will go with
Yeah, that's
Nashville. Nashville, where you are. Nashville.
okay,
Nashville.
Nashville. Now, think about this. You said Nashville, Birmingham,
Mhm.
ATL
Mhm.
with Miami in there. Now,
Yeah.
that's not bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
because those are pretty much the biggest thing you're going to look at in the 7 southern states. Now, think about if I sit in your house and I tell you, Val, you have an opportunity to come to the Big Ten, and we're going to take you to these cities: New York City, Baltimore. We're going to take
People.
you to Chicago.
Chi-town.
We're going to take you to LA. We're going to then take you to
West
San Fran. Come
West
on.
Coast.
So, what do I sign? What do I sign?
Though, so those were all, I feel like, all major markets you just mentioned, the top 5 of the top 10 markets that you mentioned. And so
Right,
that would be it. And hopefully with a good NIL deal, I
right
would.
there. You
Mhm.
just said it right there with a good NIL deal. If you want one, all you have to do is log on to www.therize.com and reach out to your boy right here, Coach Tony, to get some additional information. Val, having said that, I'm gonna give me some kudos. Give me a high five real quick. Bam. Hey, today finally put the ink to dry. And I want to thank Sean and Kate Boyer, CEO of Anatomy, who is the number one leisure wear behind Lululemon. Finalized my deal today, Val, with all my athletes. I am pumped up. I got a volleyball young lady, which is in Brooke Gilliam. We had her on the show already.
All right.
We've already had Malika Chinyeri, the tennis star that's coming up. That's just had her Hall of Fame award. And then I got Malika um,
Chinyeri.
Jacobs, who's here in Nashville, who runs track and field for University of Tennessee. She's the next young lady to get. So I'm excited to get 3 young women a
to
part of
to be a part of Rise. Now,
this
really
brand.
quickly, yeah, really quickly, we have uh Anina Johnson saying, please speak on the Russell Wilson situation. What is that? Hmm.
Well, we talked about that. If
Okay.
you were tuned in that, but just a recap real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Russell's pretty much, I think, is going to leave Denver. Um,
Wait,
you
he
know,
just got there 2 years ago.
correct. Well, 2 years ago with a 5-year deal, but he and the coach, Russell got injured early part of the season. And he has a clause in his contracts that talks about the money he's going to get paid, whether he finishes or doesn't finish the season. Do you believe, Val, that the higher up in the organization wanted him to take an injury to list him out so that they didn't have to pay him? And he refused to take it, and the problem started. So the coach got from the general manager to bench him, and he said, "I'm cool with that." Now you got to think about it, Val. I'm making 200 million for 5. I'm making 52 a year million. You can set me on any bench. Matter of fact, you can pull up on 103rd and Vince End and set me on the bench in front of Percy Jr. and I'm cool with that.
So he's gonna. Oh, I remember.
We talked
Yes,
about that. So
yes, we
now
talked about this, and
they're
it was the
bumping
way the
heads.
coach spoke to him, and he didn't speak. He didn't yell back. I remember that now.
Correct.
That is
So now
crazy.
they're trying to figure out, do we pay him for these a final 3 years, because this is only his second year, you know, and do we bring him back to Denver for these 3 years, or do we figure out a buyout to get Russell out of here? And I think he still got some good years, but Russell ain't can't him and my girl just had a brand new baby at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra. Hello.
Yeah, see, I feel like they're probably going to trade. I feel like they're going to hold on to him, but I feel like they should work some things out. And I here's someone just mentioned that they don't want to honor his contract because
Right.
I don't like the way they're treating him.
Well, the thing is, Val, when you get into the, as they quote unquote say, the business, right? If you don't uphold what the man wants you to do in the business, so you got to listen to my
Your
connotation as
words.
man business, then you are now considered an outcast, right? Because
Mhm.
I may have different plans and you decide to play. So you're going to mess those plans up, and I don't have time for that. So we need to get you gone. So you already played, 2 years and got about 110, 115 mil. And I know that we still owe you about 175 million or more. So, okay, can we cut a couple coaches' salary? Can we cut a couple players' salary and buy him out to get him out of here? Or do we bring him back another year and sit him on the sideline and bench him and have a $52 million quarterback down on the field? So that's the question that the Denver
Mhm.
Broncos is going through based on the young lady, that question you just asked. That's your answer.
Yeah. So so she feels like they don't want to honor his contract, and I think because things are not working out, and it to me, coaches and quarterbacks, they're the brains of the team, and if they're not gelling, the rest of the
Right.
team is not going to gel, and
Yep. You got the
uh,
coach sending the
rough.
signals in, and the quarterback is the most important position on the team. So
Hmm.
that's just like a basketball player with the coach and GM and a point guard who has the ball in his hand 80% of the time. If
Yeah, and
Steph
they said,
Curry wasn't
hmm
listening to what Steve Kerr had to say, then Golden State wouldn't be in the position they were to win all those rings. And speaking of winning those rings, Draymond Green is where Mike Drew at? Oh, there go Mark Lee. What's up, Mark? I want to know because Mark, this is your homeboy, Draymond Green. What you feeding him, some bad spinach or something?
wait a
Because
minute, what
oh
happened?
man,
What's happening right now?
look at his look on his face right there. That tell you what's happening right now. Oh damn, he looking like Martin. Remember the episode when Martin was like, oh damn.
So, what did Stephen A. Smith say about this situation?
Stephen A. says,
Yeah.
cut him, Val. Let him go.
What?
He's trash. He's bad for the league. He doesn't need to be in Golden State. The reason why that Steph and all those guys are not winning, doing the things they got to do, is because of the antics of Draymond Green right now. Now, he took it upon himself while they were playing Phoenix a few weeks ago to hit Nurkic. Uh, he claims that it was an accident when you saw my hand, bam, hit him with the
Like
bowl.
that?
Yeah, yeah, like that.
Wow.
Like you remember when your mama was in the store and she told you got 3 rules when you go in: don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing, and don't pick up nothing. And if you do, blam, you're gonna get the hand. So that's what Draymond gave him. But Draymond basically said the guy was holding me down in the corner, and I was just basically trying to free myself. And as I was getting loose, my hand accidentally hit him in the face.
No.
No,
No and no.
no,
No
and no,
and no.
exactly. So, and the league didn't think there was no and no. But here's what's so ironic, Val,
Hmm.
and I want to know your thoughts on this.
Hmm.
Last week, when they finally reinstated him, Silverman, the NBA commissioner, they say that Draymond Green called him, told him he no longer wants to be in the NBA and he wants to retire. And Adam called him and told him, no, I'm not going to let you retire. And we can figure this out because Draymond Green, name, image, whatever, is too important to the NBA logo. Is that not wild?
Yeah. And how many games was he suspended for?
He got suspended for 6 games, but right now he's only trailing Charles Barkley and I think Moses Malone, not Malone, but Karl Malone. He's only trailing like one or two people for the most technical foul suspensions ever in history in the league. Him and
And
Dennis Rodman. Dennis
so
Rodman,
yeah,
Parker, and
because I think they say that he is on track for winning the most defensive player of the year.
correct.
And one of the people to help with the defense of the Golden State. But here's the thing, your actions on and off the court matter, no matter
Yes.
how great of a player you are and what you're able to do. You I understand defending the ball, but you want to backhand somebody like your mama? I
Now,
don't know.
it makes my job at my level
Mhm.
difficult.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because it's the little brother that looks up to the big brother that goes out the house, but the little brother has to be in when the street lights come on. Big brother's got to be in at 10, right?
Right.
Even though he has to be in at 10, it's early to the little brother that he out into the wee hours of the night, he kicking it. So it makes it difficult for me when I've got to go every single day to walk in my gym to basketball players, and when they do something in practice and I put them all on the line and run them because I thought it was something stupid, then they say, well, Draymond Green did it, coach. What are you talking about? But you ain't, you can't do that because you're not in the league.
Mhm.
So it becomes very, very difficult. So, but do I like Draymond Green, Val? Sure, I do. Same thing I like with Dennis Rodman. If the Bulls didn't have Dennis Rodman's toughness in the '90s, we don't win those rings. I don't care what
Exactly.
Michael said.
Right.
We get the first three without him, but those last three rings when Dennis was
We
in
needed
there
him.
doing, yeah, we don't get Dennis Rodman at the time we got him. Michael Jordan finishes three, maybe four rings and get out the league, and now he has six and second greatest team behind the Boston Celtics.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're pivoting now. The bracket of
NFL,
Super Bowl, Super Bowl,
yes.
Super Bowl.
Hey, I must say this. Two things I've got to say. One, Interludes Talk on Tuesday. Coach Tony, your boy, always give out for promotional purposes only. And by the way, Val,
Mhm.
if where's Mark at? Mark, yeah, there you go, Mark. If Mark, because that's my homeboy, if he had put down on some promotional dollars that I told him for promotional purposes only in the college game, he would have won because I told everybody Michigan versus Washington and Michigan wins. So again, your boy came through for you.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. Oh my
it's
gosh.
NFL time. Go back to what you just mentioned. I got to
Mhm.
first of all start here and give you the latest news that hit today. Now,
All
you
right.
know about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, correct?
They're dating.
Yes, but you know that was the big news. Remember you and I talked about.
Yeah.
Well, did you know he had a twin brother?
I did know he had a twin brother. I did know that.
Well,
Yes.
today, Jason, his brother, decided to retire after the Philadelphia Eagles got drugged last night by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
So he's a very important piece. Now, don't get me wrong, Hunt, he just didn't have his pieces. Kelsey, didn't get the opportunity to play well. And you had my boy Brown out last night. They tried to go to Swift several times, but Tampa was just sitting there waiting on everything. And unfortunately, they got a chance to move forward. And then you had what we talked about the cold tundra game the other night.
Mhm.
When have you ever seen a dolphin survive in 0-degree weather?
I've never really seen a dolphin survive. I don't know what that looks like.
Me either. And that's what KC said as they put the Dolphins back to Miami. See you. You know, and,
So
and
so if I'm looking at this right on the NFC, it's now, oh gosh, Green
the
Bay and
Packers,
San Francisco.
the Packers upset the Cowboys. They went down to Dallas and snatched their heart out like they stole their $5 in the cafeteria.
Oh man, and then you have Detroit, and who is this?
Now you got Detroit that's getting ready to come up, and Detroit gets an opportunity to play Tampa, who
Oh,
just beat the
Tampa.
Eagles. And then you got San Fran sitting there who gets that, they'll get in. San Fran had a bye because they had the best record, like the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC. They had the
Hmm.
bye. And you get an opportunity to see those guys coming in. So again, my teams are still there.
I see
Uh,
your teams are still there. Yeah, I see
my teams are
Kansas City is there.
Kansas still there.
Hmm.
San Fran is still there. The Baltimore
Houston,
Ravens are still there.
The Houston Texans made it.
Now, the Houston Texans, I really love
Hmm.
my boy CJ Stroud, the quarterback, Ohio State, Big Ten, but I love CJ. You know,
All
he a
right.
piece. And the thing about it is, I wouldn't want to play the Texans right now, Val, because they are scary.
Why are they
Scary.
scary?
Because this young man, the last 3 games, has thrown for 1,300 yards in 3 games. 3 consecutive games over 400 yards. That's insane. Insane. He's a rookie, so he don't know no better. Hey, hey, throw that ball, boy. Let me get that ball. Hey, he out there run like run, Forrest, run.
Well, I'm wondering, are they going to advance? Are they going to advance now?
I don't think so. I think they're going to hit a wall. They get because they came in as last place. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
they'll stack up against the Baltimore Ravens. They got to go to Baltimore this Sunday or Saturday, and I think you got the schedule right there. I'll sent you as well to show the
Hmm.
games that are coming up. And I don't know what the weather's going to be, but if it's anything like it's been here and the weather is moving east, they're gonna probably be playing in 7, 8, 9 inches of snow in about 20-degree weather.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think
Now,
the head coach of the Texans, Ryans, is gonna like that.
but CJ again, he can play in that. He's an Ohio State boy, so for
Okay.
4 years he's used to that. That don't bother him. But just it's the other players around him, and you played this last year in that dome. You ain't gonna be in that dome now. If that weather come down in that stadium out there. You know how that go, Val. Rain, sleet, snow, don't matter.
It's too
And
much.
too much. And then I don't know, did you get an opportunity to see the snow 47 inches in Buffalo before the game? So they canceled the game Sunday and moved
Hmm.
it to last night.
But
That's crazy.
there was still below zero temps.
Hey, let me tell you something. I don't even care about temp. I'd have been in the stand acting a fool with a snowball fight.
Well, the Buffalo Bills won. The Buffalo Bills is going to be going up against Kansas City.
Yeah, that's going to be a
I'm going to be
great
rooting for
game.
Kansas City.
Hey, I like KC, but I'm telling you, Josh Allen is a beast. And right now, the
Hmm.
Bills are clicking right now. They won the last 6 games. The Bills are tough right now. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills in an upset, even though they're going on the road to play in Kansas City.
All right. Well, guys, I am so excited now. We got delayed by our weather. I'm just going to say that. We got delayed by our weather, but we ain't getting delayed no more.
There you go.
Sports, you want to talk sports, you need to pull up on the Pull Up podcast. It is coming next
I'm going
Monday.
to tell you.
Coming up next Monday at 8 o'clock Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And so Coach will be ready. He has his first guest ready to go. And so we are going to be excited to have just
Let me tell you.
talk
Let me
strictly
tell you that.
sports, to
Let me,
talk
let me, let
strictly sports. Yeah.
me,
And then
let
here's
me,
Mark. Mark says he'll take you on that snowball fight. There you go.
Oh, for sure, Mark. Hey. But in Chicago, Mark, let me tell you how we do it. We make the snowballs the night before and leave them on the porch till the next day. That's all I'm saying. That's all. Hey, but back.
We're officially saying goodbye to our Instagram audience. We're going to be cutting off in another 30 seconds as we're hitting
Okay.
at the top of the hour. But yeah,
Hey, Val.
that's going to be hilarious. So thank you so much, Kevin, for putting that up there.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Kevin. Good luck. And I'm telling you guys real quick, and I thank you guys, Mark, Kevin, all you guys, Mike, Drew, everybody's on here, especially my guys in the sports. Next week, we're kicking off that pull up. It's the pull up, pull up, pull up. I don't even want to drop the beat right now. I may start rapping.
No, don't
But
do that.
my mentor, my mentor, my guy, my friend, and one of the most phenomenal coaches. If you watch the Boston Celtics and you like Jaylen Brown, this young man put Jaylen Brown in the league. And my guy, Coach Kwanzo Zoe Martin, is my first guest to kick off the pull up. Man, and we've been talking, and it's going to be lit, Val. Man.
I know it's going to be lit. And definitely you guys are going to, I want to call it, set the record straight about a couple of things, and a couple of, playoff games will be played in the NFL. And of
Yes.
course, coming up on the Super Bowl. So it'll be the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and talking with the mentor. And I like that. Yeah.
I like to tell you, sometimes you got to pay homage, Val. You know what I mean?
And thank you so much for putting that up there. I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just saying sometimes you got to pay homage, and it's great that, when you get these people that touch your life to help you out and they still stay humble. That's one thing I got a major love for Coach Martin. Since having an opportunity to meet him, I've been knowing him over a decade or more. I had an opportunity to come to my AAU games, talk to me if I needed any questions, help me out, do anything. I reach out to him, and he give me a call back. He's very religious in the mental mind spec. He's doing some big things now. He's got a podcast. We're going to talk about that as well, so that you can expand your podcast and be able to get on some stuff that he's talking about on the spiritual side of the house. And man, Val, he's going to remind you of that TC Cummins interview on another level. That's what I'm thinking about.
All right. That's what's up. Thank you so very much. You'll join them on Monday, Strictly Sports, the Pull Up Podcast featuring Coach Tony, and he'll be speaking with his dear friend, Coach Zoe. And make sure that you pull up. Now we're wrapping up. You guys want to know anything about Interludes Extra presents Find Your Voice on Patreon? Join our podcasting community on Patreon today. Learn how to do a podcast or set up time with me, and I'll have Mr. Springer go ahead and place it in the chat. This has been a phenomenal talk on Tuesdays. Oh my gosh, we're having a blast. But join us again on next week. We got some fun things happening. And of course, hopefully I would have seen American Fiction. I hope to go ahead and review it.
I hope so. Yes, bro.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. And so I'm excited for your pull-up podcast. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilariously fun. And
Yes.
You guys that love sports, oh my gosh, so good to see it. So many North Central College folks in the building. Thank you so very much. And of course, Mark, who is our Pod TV person. Thank you for streaming us on Pod TV. Thank you. He says, can he run pull-up podcast on Pod TV? Yeah, Mark asked, can he run the pull-up on Pod TV?
Yes, I need you, Mark. So you need to get my information this week. As a matter of fact, Mark, either from Val or Kevin, reach out to me so we can have kick a little conversation, and I can tell you what needs to go happen. That's sweet. Appreciate the love.
So this is what we got. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. It's the wonderful coming ups, and we'll be back next week. Peace.